Hey everyone, we're moving on to the next religion, and this is Native American spirituality. It's really, really not cool what I'm doing to be able to take all of Native American spirituality and put it into like one religion. Um, the diverse religions are just as diverse as the different tribes spread out all across North, Central, South America. Um, Now, what we can say is Native American religions were very connected to the land that they lived, whether or not it be the Inuit way up in the north or the Pueblo in the southwest. They were pantheistic, which means that God is both in the world and beyond the world. Strong personal spirituality, not really a religion as such, or spirituality, connected to nature and the spirit world, focused on the three life crises: birth, puberty, and death. Religions tended not to be institutional, but personal, familial, experiential. It was what you could experience. It was more of a process and a journey instead of a real religion. Because you lived in the world, the spiritual Native American believed religions can't be separated from your everyday life. Theology is very limited, but to live and to breathe is to worship. The spirituality of the Native American made no distinction between the natural realms, the living and the dead, the visible and invisible, past, present, heaven and earth. All of it was there presently in the moment. So those ancestors who were dead were also very present in your moment. One focus on that I wanted to kind of really emphasize in Native American spirituality is the medicine wheel. Kind of these ceremonial circles that exist around the world, and these stone circles were used by Native Americans as kind of like a spiritual portal or kind of an altar as such. Um, the wheel takes the place of that altar. It talks about the relationship with nature and the spirit world, and it served as kind of a connection point to the spirit beings. So, at the heart of this medicine wheel, and um, this one's at the Mesa Creative Arts Center, um, is the great creator. And then surrounding that center stone is an inner ring made up of the energies of the rest of the wheel. The four anchor stones, the large circle, represent the spirit keepers or the cardinal directions. And between each of them lie three stones that represent the 12 moons of the cycle. And we'll go through those here in a second. Um, kind of walk through here. So here you can kind of follow along a little bit. Here you see one, and then the seven around the edge, right? And then you have the stones on the outside corners, and then inside, and it's kind of divided up into four sections. So here are just a bunch of different aspects of uh, God, Creator, the Earth Mother, the Father, Son, Grandmother, Moon, and then the elements: the earth, fire, water, and air. And then you have the different spirit keepers: um, the white buffalo, the golden eagle, the coyote, and the grizzly bear. And then you have a list of the different moons, right? So to calculate the parts of the year, and that's really interesting. Um, and then also around in the inner core here, all kind of leaning in toward that center God circle, are the different aspects or parts of what they saw as virtues: cleansing, renewal, purity, clarity, wisdom, illumination, growth, trust, love, experience, introspection, and strength. And the four quadrants kind of symbolize the different parts of humanity: physical, intellectual, spiritual, emotional, the different, obviously, there's four seasons, the different elements, the different aspects to the Great Spirit, the healer, the warrior, the teacher, and the visionary, right? So it's really, really fascinating way of taking everything they do and kind of making it visual in much the same way as Christians made stained glass to have pictures of saints and tell stories for people who were not exactly literate. And the same thing goes with the medicine wheel. Some important aspects to the cultural Native American. Wisdom of the elders was very important, and the respect that you gave them was essential. Family responsibility beyond the nuclear family. You took care of your family, and this was aunts and cousins. They were not seen with distinctions like that. They were all seen as part of your family. There was a respect for the environment by recognizing the divinity in it, and that was super important. Um, and also a willingness to share. And of course, there were incredible pressures to abandon these aspects over the centuries. As far as sacramentally goes, there's a sense of sacrament. The sweat lodge and the ceremonial pipe in nature. I like this quote. Rather than going to church, I attend a sweat lodge. Rather than accepting bread and toast from the holy priest, I smoke the ceremonial pipe to come into communion with the Great Spirit. Rather than kneeling with my hands placed together in prayer, I let sweet grass be feathered over my entire being. It's really cool. Um, Habitats drive faith. Because of the wide range of habitats and the different ways that people needed to uh, find food, it changed the different kind of spirituality. Whether or not you were stuck in one place, or or you were redoing, crops, or whether or not you were constantly moving, following the herds, it all changed the type of spirituality that you had. Now we come to the fall of this culture. The arrival of the Europeans marked a major change in the native society. Millions died of sickness and slavery and extermination. It's just embarrassing. Um, the let's see, native spirituality was suppressed by the governments of the United States and Canada. Spiritual leaders ran the risk of jail sentences to practice their rituals. So much for religious freedom. Suicidologists believe that the extremely high suicide rate among natives is due to the destruction of their religion and culture. Now, again, Native American spirituality was very tied to the um, culture and to the land. So when American governments said, "Oh, we'll just move you to a different kind of land," they didn't understand that they couldn't practice the same way on a different kind of land, that it was very much connected, and they just didn't get that, and so the extreme high rates of suicide followed. Um, Lots of different things here to talk about. Talk about peyote, which is practiced kind of a hallucinogen that is still practiced today. I have a couple of things here that I'm not going to go through, but if you get a chance to read through them, the myth of Niagara Falls, super cool. The tradition of sending a warrior princess over the falls as a sacrifice. That's super cool. And also, you have the mythology of coyote stories. These coyote stories, he's an interesting character found in native cultures throughout North America. He's kind of a trickster character. And some he has the power to create, and others he's this cultural hero battling supernatural enemies. Sometimes he's a messenger, bringing culturally significant information to the people. Sometimes he is a trickster. Sometimes he's a buffoon, and a young warrior defeats him intellectually. Sometimes he's sex crazed, where he goes in, has sex with a whole bunch of different Native American women. He's always dying at the hands of somebody more clever than him. And these stories were meant to entertain and instruct, or maybe do a little both. And it seems like toward the end, and common stories now, the coyote is more of kind of a Three Stooges buffoon character. So that's the end of Native American spirituality. I hope you enjoyed it.